Tell me how to pronounce your name.
Shaud.
Shaud. And what is the background of Shaud?
It's like Irish, French Huguenot. I think my ancestors kind of got around over there in those islands, you know.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had it right. This part is an interesting role you play. You play a young producer, kind of like the guy on the Today Show, that 26-year-old guy everybody's talking about.
Yeah, people keep sending me clips about him, you know. They clip it out of the paper and send me, apparently, Katie Couric calls him Miles.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a little life imitating art.
How did you get this role?
I was doing theater in New York, you know, for about 5 years, and I had always seen guys, you know, who were in my agency getting flown out for test deals, movies, and stuff like that. And I just was beginning to think that whatever it is, you know how they say, well, the camera loves him, or he's got it. I just thought, I don't have it. So I was kind of seeing myself as living in a flat at 46th and 8th Street with a light bulb hanging from the ceiling. And I got a call for Murphy Brown. And I went in, I read for it. The machine got messed up, so I had to go in and read for it again. And a week later, I was doing a play reading, and I hadn't checked my machine all day. Went home, and there were about 5 panicked messages from my agent saying I had to be on a plane at 9 o'clock the next day.
Yeah.
They said I'd have to be here 2 days, so I threw some underwear and some jeans and a T-shirt in a bag, and I got on the plane. And I read for it when I got out here, and they said, we don't want you going anywhere because we're going to start shooting soon after they gave it to me. So they said, hang out, and I ended up being here for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But they had to give me some money for clothes and stuff like that. Because
Yeah, you only had 2 pairs of underwear.
2 pairs of underwear, they were getting pretty crusty.
Yeah. Oh, boy. You know, I was never good at auditioning. Were you good in your reading?
Yeah, you know, it was like, no, I didn't think so. But I think, at this point, they were about 5 days away from shooting the pilot, and I was the last role to be cast. And they were desperate. And I think they looked at it and said, well, he looks like he could play it. Let's get him out here.
Were you living, I mean, you seem to be very descriptive in the apartment you talked about. Did you have a light bulb hanging? I mean, what kind of apartment were you living in?
Well, I started out in a boarding house on the Upper West Side, and, you know, I mean, you couldn't even do a push-up in it. And it was a bed, a little refrigerator with a hot plate on top of it, a desk, a closet, and you had to share the bathroom with everybody else on the floor. And this was $75 a week, so it was not a hip, slick, and cool crowd, you know, that I kind of, you know, shared my abode with. And then I eventually moved to an apartment that had my shower was in the kitchen, and I had to shave in the kitchen sink, and we propped a little mirror up there, and, you know, it's cliche starving New York actor story.
Yeah, but real.
Yeah, I was living it. I was feeling it.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quickie and come right back with more Grant. I'll be right back. What kind of jobs did you have to pay for that little place?
Bunch of waitering jobs. I did room service at a hotel one time.
That sounds like fun.
Well, it's hard because, you know, I didn't have any money, and I was working pretty consistently in the theater, but that doesn't pay. And the Brat Pack, I guess that's what they were called at the time, would stay at this hotel. It was owned by Steve Rubel, who owned Studio 54 and stuff. And, you know, so it's hard to see people who were doing what you wanted to do, you know, and living a different kind of lifestyle.
Like Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson, people like that? I
guess so, yeah. Ali Sheedy and stuff like that would come in and promote a movie.
Taylor, he's in the Brat Pack, right?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I took a Dove bar up to share once.
Really?
Yep. Sheena Easton. I took some food up to Pee Wee Herman.
What's so funny about that? Pee Wee eats?
He was Paul Rubens when I took it up. You know, he was like, you opened the door and he needed a shave, and he had this natty bathrobe on, and he was just real quiet. He's just like, oh, you can put it over there. And I put the food down and had him sign the check, and as I was walking out, you know, my back was to him. He goes, thanks a lot, you know. And I turned around, and it was like schizo.
Yeah.
It's like, is he in control of that, you know?
Oh, gosh. Any other big names?
Oh, wow. Anthony Perkins. This was a pretty hip hotel.
I should send my bookers to work room service at a hotel here.
Absolutely.
All the big names in the hotel there. Hi. I'm silly tonight. I'm sorry. I'm wearing a purple suit. I know I got to get it back to Prince by midnight, and I'm just, you know, I'm real silly. You just bought a home,
Yeah, about 3 years ago. Not quite just.
Oh.
It's not quite a home yet, you know. I still live in it like it's a studio apartment, because that's all I know how to live in, you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of live in my bedroom, and the rest of the house is empty. It's not a big house. It's only, you know, it's like 2 bedrooms, 4 or 5 rooms, but there's nothing in the other rooms. I just live in my bedroom. It's pathetic.
Adjusting to L.A. must be hard, much less a house.
Yeah, it's a different, it's a completely different energy, you know. I was living in these things called the Oakwood Apartments in Sherman Oaks when I first moved out of here. They're like these furnished apartments, and someone's going.
Yeah, there's people
live
up
in
there
the
doing
Oakwood.
this.
Oakwood.
My neighbor.
Probably the guy hanging out by the pool making all that noise. You play all that head banging. You play all that head banging music out there. And yeah, I was living there, and I was doing the show, and we didn't know it was picked up for 13 episodes. So I figured this thing's lasting 13 weeks. I just want to store my money away like a little squirrel and take it back to New York. And after work one day, Faith Ford came up to me and she goes, you know, we're getting in our cars, and she goes, Grant, what do you do after rehearsal? And I said, well, I go home and, you know, I have some dinner and I hang out. She goes, what do you do? Where do you go? I said, I go back to my apartment. She said, what do you do? I said, I watch some TV, I work on my lines. You know, this has been going on for about a year, and she just goes, you're coming out with me, you know. She introduced me to all her friends, and I got a quick circle of friends. And
So you're like a very private, shy introvert.
yeah, I hear you are, too.
Yeah. Yeah, once you leave here, man,
Yeah.
you know, these are my friends, then I go home and I sit like rain host.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I am. But I'm glad you came by, and I'm glad the show is doing very well. I don't need to tell him when it's on. When is it on?
Tonight, Monday night, 9 o'clock.
Yes.
I won't say the network.
Say the network. We said it earlier.
You did?
Yeah, because Suzanne's project is on CBS. No, I don't trip over stuff like that. CBS, come back anytime, man.
Thanks.
It's a pleasure.
Mine.
We'll be right back with Lenny Clark.